We may not be able to send any more messages as regime forces push closer and closer.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Vermont to New York City, on the internet at thestruggle.org, our YouTube channel, Struggle Video Media. We'll start with extremely sad news and work our way up, from Syria to Palestine to Hartford, Connecticut. As the last neighborhoods in eastern Aleppo are conquered, we're going to start coverage of Syria with a short piece by Bilal Abdul Karem from On the Ground News. He's inside of eastern Aleppo. I don't know him, but he's evidently a religious Muslim. He says a few phrases in Arabic that non-Muslims probably won't understand. If that scares you, change the channel. With almost good humor, he tells Muslims and non-Muslims that we've failed in Aleppo big time.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Bilal Abdul Karem from On the Ground News, and I am not coming to you at this time as a representative of On the Ground News. I'm coming to you as an average person here in besieged Aleppo. We may not be able to send any more messages as regime forces push closer and closer. The airstrikes become more intense, if there's even such a thing as that. And so this might be close to, if not the last communication. If that is the case, I did want everybody to know, us at OGN, we really appreciate all of the support and the effort that people have given us. If we're able to continue that, then we're going to be doing that. If we don't make it out of besieged Aleppo, OGN is going to continue, and they're going to continue to bring you news from on the ground here in Syria that you can trust. And finally, I would like to say to the Muslim Ummah that is out there, guys, you dropped the ball on this one. Erdogan, nice recitation of Quran, but you really blew it this time. You really had an opportunity to be the hero, fly in here with a cape, and help out these poor people with your troops just 25 kilometers away. But you blew it. And a whole lot of other folks, the Qataris blew it, the Saudis, all the rest of them, y'all all blew it. And you had an opportunity, a golden opportunity. But, Qadr Allah, ma sha'a fa'ala, the Muslim Ummah is going to continue, and they're going to deal kindly and justly with all of the people who deserve that, both Muslim and non-Muslim. Jazakumullahu khaira. I am Bilal Abdul Karem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I actually saw his image for a half second on NBC News last night. It's December 15th. I have no idea if he's still alive. These are children in an Aleppo orphanage hoping for evacuation.
مرحبا، يمكن هي آخر يوم تسمعوا صوتي وتشوفوني. أنا اسمي ياسمين قيموز، عمري 10 سنين.
We continue to call for airdrops of food and supplies to the besieged areas in Syria. Last week, Congress adjourned without doing anything to help the Syrians. The president, he seemingly has been on vacation since the election. He sends Samantha Power to berate the Russians at the UN, a totally useless measure. Obama and Congress must be shamed into action. We close this section with a picture of the Eiffel Tower. On December 14th, Paris authorities turned off the lights in the tower in solidarity with Aleppo. Now the final section of Ben Ehrenreich's talk for Palestine for New Haven Jewish Voice for Peace.
Behind us, on the far side of the fence, 3 soldiers loitered outside their quarters. One of them walked off on patrol, not bothering to wear his helmet. And Eid talked about torture in the prisons of the Arab world, and the fear that prevented him from going to pray at the Al-Aqsa, and the possibility of Judgment Day. I believe in that, he said, though he didn't think it would happen soon. We talked about climate change and the war in Ukraine. Bad world, Eid said. Everything is going to be a problem. We talked about his first time on a plane and the city of Cambridge, which he had loved, and the fanatical settlers of Yitzhar. A lot of crazy things in this world, Eid observed. Where there are bad things, you find the good things, actually. For instance, there was a settler who lived in Carmel, the son of a Holocaust survivor. His name was Roan. He had called Eid to apologize the last time the army demolished homes in the village. He's a very good man, actually, Eid said. He didn't speak to him often, because the other settlers would cause trouble for him if they saw him fraternizing with Arabs. But in my mind, Eid said, he's a friend of mine. I'm not concerned with the geography, whether it's an illegal settlement or not. I'm concerned with finding good men, even the bad men. And Eid acknowledged that there were some of those. He didn't want to see them hurt. It pained him, he told me, whenever he heard that a settler had been shot. The man's family would suffer, and so would whoever shot him, whether they were captured or not. The wheel of vengeance would keep on spinning and dragging everyone along. I think this land is very big, Eid said. It can take all of us without any problems. But because we are human, we are stupid, and we do not see the truth. We do not want to speak to our neighbors, and there is misunderstanding between us. I was about to reply that he made it sound too simple, that good people did ugly things all over the world, and it was rarely a question of individuals and their choices or emotions, but of systems, machines that were larger than any of us. But Eid beat me to it and said it again, his refrain. It's so easy, he said, and so hard. He talked about other things, Israeli friends whom he used to see but didn't anymore, Eyal from Beersheba, with whom he used to do Tai Chi, and another friend, really a very good man, who lived in Sderot, just outside of Gaza, and who had to deal not only with the rockets falling, but with the anger of his neighbors, who didn't like it that he had Palestinian friends, until finally he moved his family to America because he didn't want his children to grow up around such hate. And another friend, a very good friend, who had moved to the US too, so that her son would never have to be a soldier. Yes, Eid said, they all moved away, and he was always sad when they did. But of course they moved, he said. Everyone wants to go. I didn't mention that most people in the village wanted only to stay. That was in May of 2013, and at the time Eid was, he was quite desperate to leave. He was very depressed and I think feeling quite closed in. Since then, things have gotten far worse. As I said, there were 2 sets of demolitions in August alone. I believe there was one in April, and there was one in, I believe it was in December before that. The frequency of demolitions has picked up quite a bit in the last year. And as things have gotten worse, Eid's determination to stay in Khair seems to have deepened. In the last few times I've talked to him, he doesn't talk about leaving anymore. I'm just going to read something that I didn't write, but I came across it. Somebody posted on Twitter today, and I remembered how beautiful it was, and it seemed it was good to read today. A poem by the great Palestinian poet Sami al-Qasim, who died in the summer of 2014, in August, just 1 week before the end of that war. And it's called "End of a Discussion with a Jailer." And like many Palestinians, he spent a good amount of time in prison. Sure. The poem is called "End of a Discussion with a Jailer," and it's short. From the window of my small cell, I can see trees smiling at me, roofs filled with my people, windows weeping and praying for me. From the window of my small cell, I can see your large cell. So I'll end there. But I think we have plenty of time for questions if people have them.
By the way, that anti-Palestinian bill called the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act was not passed by the House and thus fails this Congress. You may recall last week I wondered why Bernie Sanders voted for the measure in the Senate. Despite my telephone call and 2 emails to his media person, I have not received an explanation. In Hartford, Connecticut, some 400 people gathered on a windy, cold day to rally and march for jobs, justice, and a livable climate. We'll start with a view of the march. Before the march at the rally, some of the speakers.
We shall not be moved. We're standing up for Standing Rock. We shall not be moved. Pipeline construction we must block. We shall not be moved. We're standing here together for freedom. We shall not be moved.
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? First, I want to start by saying you're all beautiful people and thank you for being here today to fight for a better world. So, I just want to emphasize that we've brought a lot of groups together here today because we know that the solutions to climate change are the solutions to a bunch of other problems too. Like we can create more employment with renewable energy, we can create better health outcomes, we can welcome immigrants and climate refugees when we build a better world that provides sustainable energy through renewables, and we provide mass transportation for all people.
Good day, everybody. So, I'm a volunteer with the Connecticut Sierra Club, and I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes about what's happening with energy strategy in Connecticut and where we are now, where we should be going. So, it's mostly bad, but as Ben pointed out, there are a couple of bright spots. Right now, the state of Connecticut is dedicated to a policy of expanding the use of fracked natural gas. They want to convert hundreds of thousands of more customers to the use of fracked methane or natural gas for residential and business uses. Increasing customers in this way fabricates a need for fracked gas that we don't currently have. The reason that they want to create this need for fracked methane is to justify the expansion of massive interstate pipelines. There are 3 of them, and one of them was almost completed, and parts of it have gone online. It's known as the AIM. This is a terrible pipeline bringing massive amounts of fracked methane across our region from Pennsylvania that pass either directly under Indian Point nuclear power plant or right next to it.
Because all life, all existence, all beings, everything, in my perspective, is God's. It's not mine to do with whatever I choose to do with it. It's God's or the Great Spirit or whatever name you give that which is beyond all names.
I want to invite you to take part in a positive constructive project that we at People's Action for Clean Energy are carrying out. And that is, we're working on a grassroots movement and developing plans to move Connecticut to 100% renewable energy. Absolutely. I think we all know the technology's there. What we need is the political will.
Where I'm from, you speak back to the black preacher. Good afternoon. I am so pleased and honored to have been asked to speak to you today, to be among those whose responsibility of leadership ennobles the cause of people, the work of justice, the respect of our great mother, Mama Earth. In this place of responsibility that I am from, of duty and of vision, standing in the shoes of the prophet, linked by my birthright. The black prophetic tradition has been the leaven in the American democratic loaf. These words spoken by my friend and brother freedom fighter, the Reverend Dr. Cornel West. Dr. West says this, he goes on to say, what has kept American democracy going fascist or authoritarian or autocratic has been the legacy of people like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Martin King, and Fannie Lou Hamer. And this is not just because black people have a monopoly on truth, you see, or on goodness or beauty. It is because the black freedom movement puts pressure on the American empire in the name of integrity, decency, honor, and virtue. I agree. My life commitment in the work of social justice is rooted in the struggle for our common humanity. My spiritual guide and mentor and teacher, the Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman, said in his seminal book, Jesus and the Disinherited, he said, those who live life with their backs against the wall must understand the autonomy of the issues facing them and recognize how fear, deception, and hatred are complicit in the maintaining of systems of oppression. Furthermore, they must learn how to destroy the power of those destructive forces by pursuing an intentional love that seeks reconciliation. So for me today, everyone who wants to engage in this kind of work must do so from a position of humility and must be anchored in a love ethic. For change work must be from the place of deep, abiding love. That is, love of other, love of creation, and love of self. For these are the antidotes for fear, deception, and hatred. These hounds of hell. So for me, the struggle is obvious. The opposition is well-funded and temporarily in charge. The work is before us. The challenge to resist is preeminent. And I am resolute. Let me close my remarks by saying to you, what we affirm here today, what our coming together under a banner, one banner means and must mean, it must mean that we will no longer be willing to continue with business as usual. It must mean that we are willing to leave our domiciles of complacency out into the streets of turn-up and action with our bodies, with our souls, with our minds, with our hearts, with freedom, liberty, and justice for all as the end game. For our cause is just. Our work is righteous. Our duty is well-founded. Our call unquestioned. Our commitment then has to be honest, authentic, and sure. For me, you see, until the killing of a black man and black mother's son is as important as the killing of a white man and a white mother's son, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. I said cannot rest. cannot rest until it comes. Thank you.
Climate change is not waiting. Climate change is relentless and soulless, and it's the enemy of our future. When we stand still or we lose ground, climate change advances. So, no more hanging heads. No more white wine and TV binging. No more beer and chips. We got to keep moving like we are today. And don't give up on the ultimate wisdom and the self-correcting ability of the working class, and especially the labor movement. This year, my union, the International Association of Machinists, 500,000 strong, passed a resolution at our national convention. It said that climate change is a priority for our union for the foreseeable future.
During the march, there were stops at places like the train station and TD Bank.
Just want to say one moment about how horrible the people are being treated at Standing Rock. I mean, they're shooting fire hoses at them, in freezing conditions at Standing Rock. And that's just the beginning of it. They have high-intensity lights 24 hours a day at the camp to make it impossible to sleep. They have planes flying low. They have drones. They constantly are throwing tear gas at them. There's a woman who has lost. That's right, you should boo. There's a woman who effectively has lost her arm. A hero of ours. They shot her in the arm. The arteries are gone. Parts of the bone are gone. She's going to undergo 20 surgeries. Sophie Walensky, she's one of our heroes. All power to her. Incredible, horrible stuff is going on there, and we have to stand with them. And then there's a very simple thing you can do, is to take your money out of the banks that invest. Now here's one of them here, Toronto Dominion, TD Bank. Across the street, you have Citizens Bank. And the biggest one, and I had some money in it, was Wells Fargo. And so, why would you boo Wells Fargo? They have so many accounts, and they make up accounts for you, and you don't even know about it. Wells Fargo. Well, my wife and I went into the Wells Fargo Bank, and we just took out the money. It took us 12 minutes to get a check, and we went across the street and put the money in a place that didn't invest. And we took a selfie. We took a picture. We got 1,400 shares. But we don't care about the shares. We want people to imitate it, to go and take their money out of TD Bank, Citizens Bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. You can find the lists. Take the money.
New song to an old melody. Bismarck, North Dakota won't take the pipeline one iota. Won't meet their pollution quota. So why do you make me? Here comes the chorus. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. Try that with me. Don't give me that corporate ambition. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. TD Bank is a financer of rising seas and cancer. We're demanding that you answer for these catastrophes. Don't give me that corporate. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. Water needs protecting, so expect I'll be objecting when your actions are affecting the right of life to be. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. Flint was not not an aberration, but a crass collaboration of forces in this nation who make us their enemy. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. Oh, why should we go quiet as your cops create a riot? What you're selling, we don't buy it. Water should be clean and free. Last time, don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me. Don't give me that corporate ambition that puts me in this position. I am making my decision. You can't do this to me.
I am the president and business agent of Local 1336 out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I am thrilled that my boss, I work at the, I'm a retired police officer first of all, but I also moonlighted as a bus driver, believe it or not. And now I'm a full-time bus driver, but I'm the business agent for the union now. And I am thrilled that the Greater Bridgeport Transit, my boss, Doug Holcomb, announced that he was purchasing in their new procurement a little over, almost half the fleet of electric buses. Now, the jury's still out on batteries. It's still out on that. But it's a step in the right direction. Because any step away from the harmful element that gas puts out into the atmosphere is a step in the right direction.
Singing Minnie Wachoni, people gonna rise like the water. Gonna fight till they are. I hear the voice of my great granddaughter singing Minnie Wachoni, people gonna rise.
That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller, and this has been The Struggle.